order. Good morning, Rhonda. Would you please call the roll?
Good morning, thank you. Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Regent Aubrey?
Here.
Regent Cordell?
Here.
Regent Creed? Regent DeVede?
Here.
Regent Finley? Regent Glacier? Regent Hickson?
Here.
Regent Ms. Kincaid? Regent May?
Here.
Regent Meir?
Right.
Regent Pryor? Regent Reeves? Regent Sarda? Regent Shamir?
Here.
Regent Sterling?
Here.
Regent Temple?
Here.
Regent Williams-Brown?
Here.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, and I think Regent Sarda will be back in the room in just a moment. We'll now move to item number 3, public comments. Are there any public comments?
We've not received any public comments at this time.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 4. Members, you've received a copy of the minutes from the December 10th LATA meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
There's a motion by Regent Hickson, second by Regent David. Is there any other discussion? Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Let's now move to item 5, the consent agenda. I'll ask our interim executive director, Dr. Susanna Craig, to present this agenda item.
Yes, ma'am. So we have one item on the consent agenda for the LATA agenda today, and that is the approval of the annual interest rates for the principal protection plan and for the earnings enhancements, both of which are currently managed by our state treasurer. The state treasurer actually determines these interest rates each year based upon earnings over the previous year. We have to promulgate these rules every year. It's required by the START statutes, and these are brought before LATA each year. So if you will, and so that next slide, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. So the LASFA Advisory Board recommends approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items? A motion by Regent Reeves, second. Second by Regent May. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Next item, item 6, other business. Dr. Craig will provide an update on the current 529 bill moving through the legislature. Dr. Craig, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. So we currently have a 529 bill by Representative Carver, which is moving quickly through the process across the street. This House Bill 749. Many of you are aware about that we are in the process of updating our procedures on our 529 savings account. This bill allows for the transferring of all operations related to the savings accounts, our START accounts, our START K-12 accounts, as well as our ABLE accounts, Achieving a Better Life Experience, which is saving plans for children and young adults with disabilities, which can be used for costs such as housing, education, and training for our students with and adults with disabilities. We want to take all of these 3 different types of saving plans and move them to a third-party manager, more secure site, more efficient management, but maintaining our current regulatory oversight. And so this change is going to allow our constituents and our account holders the ability to manage the money that they have put into these accounts more efficiently, right through the phone, just as you do your own online banking through the phone. We're very excited about this. This bill has gone through House Ed, House Appropriations, passed the House floor, and has been referred to the Senate today. So we're very excited about this piece of legislation, and it's moving very fastly through session. And that's our update.
Thank you so much. We are very excited about that legislation. Grateful to the governor for putting it into the budget and the House for hanging on
Yes.
to it. So more to come on that. So is there any other business, Dr.
No,
Brown?
ma'am.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? A motion by Regent Aubrey, second by Regent Meir. Any objection, any discussion? Hearing none, the motion passes. And Madam Chair, we are adjourned.
I'd also like to welcome some of our chancellors and presidents here today. We'd like to welcome Chancellor Pierre from Southern, also President Lamel from Grambling, and then President Rick Gallo, Dr. Rick Gallo. There he is in the back. Thank y'all for coming today. Now we'll move on to our committee meetings. First up will be the Legislative Committee. Members, again, please remember we're being live streamed and silence your phone. Regent Meir, will you please call your committee to order?
I'd like to call the April Legislative Committee meeting to order. Commissioner Reed, will you please call the roll?
You want me to call?
Regent Meir,
Present.
Regent May, Regent Aubrey,
Here.
Regent Reeves, Regent Shamia, Regent Temple, Regent Sarda,
Here.
LCTCS representative, LSU representative, Southern representative, and UL system representative. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Next up, we have agenda item number 3, the 2026 legislative update. Members, we've passed the halfway point of this year's legislative session. As you know, our staff is deeply engaged with a number of bills this session. We weekly have updates from Emily as the session goes on, and we have a presentation and an update for you right now.
Okay, so I'm very happy to present this troubleshooting for our own Bree Golden Phillips, who is across the street. So we're just going to give you some highlights of where we are with a couple of items that are of significance to us. We'll start with the legislative priorities. Yes, making sure I'm right here. Senator Edmonds and Representative Freiberg's legislation, this should be on the House floor. This bill is really focused on moving the goalpost from a focus on education to a focus on education to employment. And how do we ensure that we have career-connected campuses in Louisiana? What is the definition of that? So a dashboard to really measure that, and Dr. Denley is the quarterback leading that work with the Workforce Commission, so I co-chair that Career Alignment Task Force. Our chair has been active with that as well. So that legislation is in its final stage and should soon be passing. The next two bills are around hazing prevention, and we have been, as you all know, very focused on the Caleb Wilson Hazing Prevention Task Force. These bills have passed the House. They are scheduled for coming up for Senate Education, and so halfway through the process. But again, very focused on student safety, on accountability, and how do we continue to move the needle to keep our students safe. So that's that legislation as well. The next slide, three bills on that slide, digital misuse. So a lot of conversation about deep fakes and how do we make sure that the legislation, the state law is up to date on how to protect students from deep fakes, sexualized deep fakes in the power-based violence legislation. So that has passed the Senate. The next bill Dr. Craig just mentioned, which is the 529, more secure, better customer interface for consumers, moving through the process. And then name, image, and likeness. Regent Temple is our lead on that. Regent Aubrey was a part of that as well, but this is legislation to protect high school students when it comes to NIL, to try to set some parameters and policies around that, as well as setting prohibited industries that high school students should not participate in as well. So that one is moving through the process. Next, a couple of additional slides. Dual enrollment access is in Senate Education today, this morning. It does two things. It sets a single application, a uniform application for dual enrollment statewide. Some students take dual enrollment from more than one institution at the same time, so this would have one single application for all. We expect an amendment added today to add uniform pricing. So it will require the management boards, for the management board representatives that are here today, the management boards to set uniform pricing for career technical dual enrollment and academic dual enrollment, so that we have predictability and reliability in the pricing across the state of Louisiana. So that legislation moving today. hopefully moving today. TOPS Tech eligibility adds to the TOPS Tech Award dual enrollment as a eligibility option, but the other item that's very big in terms of an amendment is this allows part-time students to receive TOPS Tech. And as you know, there are a lot of adults who are trying to squeeze some education into their life. And currently, TOPS Tech does not allow for part-time students. So this would allow for part-time students to avail themselves of the state's TOPS Tech Award. MJ Foster eligibility, it would freeze the age at 21, and that is waiting the Senate. We have a bill by Rep. Broussard to align the math TOPS curriculum with the BESI standards around math. Phased retirement allows the management boards to adopt voluntary phased retirement programs if they want to allow faculty and staff to step down from full-time retirement to part-time, full-time status to part-time status, so it allows the management boards to do that. The support fund bill passed out of House Education today. This says if the constitutional amendment passes on May 16th, the accountability oversight that Regents now provides passes to the management boards. And so all the endowed chairs, endowed professorship, donor intent, rules and regulations would pass to the management boards to oversee those support fund dollars in the event that passes. There are a couple of bills that we talked about that have not advanced. Guns on campus, converting TOPS to a loan program, a broader TOPS Tech bill, and then low earning outcomes programs. Those have not advanced through the process. And then there are a couple of bills that are bills of interest. The first two, fiscal health, we believe is very important, fiscal accountability, making sure that we understand that the management boards are reporting on where the institutions are if they have fiscal challenges and specific plans of action to right the ship, if you will, if the institutions have challenges. The Regents transfer bill, the main item on that is moving LumCon to an academic home. That was deferred yesterday in the Senate, so we'll keep an eye on that. The next one includes the studies so far that Regents will be asked to study, a comprehensive study on TOPS return on investment. It has made it completely through the process. A study of MJ Foster and TOPS Tech, which are the two state-supported career technical scholarship programs, and then a study on carbon capture, a peer-reviewed study on that. The final slide, other bills of interest in higher ed, TOPS data. This will provide public and private institution data to allow us to study the return on investment for TOPS. Currently, we receive the public data, but not the private institution data. They did go to the table in support, and so that will give us a complete data set in order to do the work. Free speech bill by Rep. Owen to ensure there's no retaliation in his push to protect academic freedom. And then the Louisiana Higher Education Research Security Council focused on trying to protect Louisiana research and intellectual property from foreign adversaries. This bill in its current status would be housed at the Board of Regents, chaired by the Board of Regents, and it is up for House approval, the final step. So, Mr. Chair, those are some of the highlights. There's a lot moving. June 1st is when the session ends, and so very happy to answer any questions you may have on legislation.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Are there any questions from our regent? Seeing none, is there any other business to come before the committee?
There is not.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Regent May, second by Regent Chris Reeves. Any questions on readiness? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're in adjournment.
All right.
Next up is the Academic and Student Affairs Committee. Regent Sterling, will you please call your committee to order?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to call the April Academic and Student Affairs Committee meeting to order. Dr. Denley, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Regent Sterling.
Here.
Regent Creed. Regent Aubrey. Regent Glazier. Regent Reeves. Regent Shamia.
Here.
Regent Aubrey is here.
Here.
So, Regent Sarda.
Here.
LCCCS representative. LSU representative. Southern representative. And UL system representative. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Our first item is the consent agenda. Dr. Denley, please proceed.
Thanks so much. Yeah, so two aspects to today's consent agenda, just as is often the case. So today we have some very standard approvals of changes in COP codes and changing the names of some units. But we also have 7 degree terminations and 1 certificate termination. All of those terminations were not part of the original termination packet that we presented back in September. So as we're keeping track of this, by the end of the year, we really will have terminated quite a goodly number of programs, both as part of the regular order in September, but also then throughout the year as we have promised. So I believe campuses really have heard very well the conversations that we've had here about our expectations about how to terminate programs that have come to the end of their reasonable lives and then reincorporate those resources more appropriately on campus. So with that, senior staff recommend approval of the items on the consent agenda.
I'm offering the motion to approve.
Surprise, surprise.
No.
Motion by Regent Arbery, and a second? Second by Regent Reeves. Any further discussion?
No, I just wanted to say you are absolutely correct. The only concern I have about the termination, it does appear to slant more toward terminating programs to put graduates into the education field. And it may not be the case. Some of them have been consolidation of names and different programs. They may be an MA in different content areas, but I get it. It's very costly, and it's not the most attractive programs, based on industry right now. But that's just something why I was hoping the legislature would appropriate some dollars for some of those teacher support programs that we need to make sure that we're getting individuals in that field. But I do respect and I do applaud the institutions who are looking at right sizing in today's environment and looking at how they can best serve their role, scope, and mission.
Yeah, I think you raise a terrific point. I think as you look across the country, you see states that are closing programs willy-nilly all over the place. Here in Louisiana, over the last 4 or 5 years, we really have taken, I believe, a very intentional and strategic approach to right-sizing our portfolios. This is not a one-and-done kind of deal. It has been an ongoing process, and so year on year on year, I believe, well, at least while I've been here, we've closed something approaching 150 programs. May not be exactly 150, but it's of that sort of order. Maybe 135 or 140, but it's of that number. We're now getting to a place, just as you say, where when programs are, I think, grappling often with very hard decisions on their campus, they are looking at programs which, in a different fiscal place, they would want to keep. But because they are in the fiscal place they are instead looking to try to terminate those programs. And so at some point that conversation had to come when we begin to endanger programs which ideally as a state we would like to retain that capacity, but are in fact forced not to be able to retain that anymore. So I think you're exactly right.
Regents, any other questions? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Next is item 4, academic programs. There are 2 academic programs to consider. Dr. Denley?
Thank you so much. So yeah, 2 programs today. One, a bachelor's degree in health administration at LSU Shreveport. I think it's Regents are well aware that LSU Shreveport has grown quite considerably in the recent past, and new leadership there, the new president has taken a very strategic approach to trying to reshape the portfolio. Much of their growth in the recent years has been in an online setting, and so I know that he is focusing on trying to redress that balance and trying to also grow on-campus enrollment, and this is in many ways part of this, that this proposal brings together a number of strengths in both and need in the region and with the institution. Of course, capacity in healthcare administration with the health industry there in Northwest Louisiana is a crucial part of the work of that institution. LSU Shreveport has for quite a considerable time had a very prominent master's degree in health administration. And so the institution is really seeking to build on that capacity by opening a bachelor's degree in health administration to meet the needs of the locale. It will be the only degree at the bachelor's level in the northern part of the state, and actually really only one of 2 programs like this across the state. So I think it really does serve a tremendous capacity need both in that region and across the state more generally. The other program is an associate degree in physical therapy assistant at LSU Eunice. Again, I think we've talked much about the needs that as a state we have in all kinds of different healthcare fields, and certainly there are many on the Regents who can tell me much more than I would ever have known about the needs in healthcare. So I know that I'm speaking to the choir in this sense. So we talk a lot about often building capacity in nursing. Today we're talking about building capacity in the role of a physical therapy assistant. This would only be the 3rd such program in the state. There's one in the north up in Bossier, one in the south and at Delgado. This would then add additional capacity in the center of the state. And so with that, senior staff certainly recommend the approval of both of these programs as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Denley. Is there a motion to?
Motion.
All right. Sarter and second from Arbery. Any further discussion, any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Item 5 is other business. Dr. Denley has some exciting news to share with us about Louisiana's impact on the Artemis II program and the region's inclusion in a pilot program with the LSU Census Bureau. Dr. Denley, please share your great news.
Thank you. I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, so I'm sure that just like me, a number of us geeked out, I think is the appropriate term, watching the launch of Artemis II. It really was quite astonishing to see. I actually, on the way home to try to get home, I just got home just in time to see the launch, but I took the opportunity to call my children to make sure that they could watch it, and my grandchildren to make sure that they could watch it, because, it really was quite an astonishing moment to see. But also, I think, less realized, and I think this is the purpose of today's presentation, is the role of Louisiana in that momentous occasion. That we really have, over the years, had an extraordinary role here as a state. Michoud has been part of the NASA space mission for over 60 years and has been part of building the rockets that send people to the moon for all of that time. As part of the creation of Artemis II, we actually had 54 Louisiana alumni who were part and parcel of exactly what it is that you saw, but also are going to be part of what is yet to come, because where there is Artemis II, there is also Artemis III, and so extraordinarily exciting to see that. You can see here on the screen the 6 institutions where those alumni were. They are all over the state. They are at LSU A&M, and they are at Nunez, and they are at Southern, and they are at Tulane, and ULL, and University New Orleans, and they are at all kinds of different majors. We have business, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, engineering science. I'm sure you're all surprised that there were engineers involved. Mechanical engineering, computer science, geology, physics, and of course, Nunez's aerospace manufacturing technology program. And so it just really is, I think, an enormous testament to what it is that we do in Louisiana, which is that we create the talent that not only serve people here in Louisiana, but take people to the moon. And I think that's just astonishing. Here are a couple of quotes from people who were involved at some of those programs, and I won't read them out, but I think it really does capture the excitement that we need to have about the impact of the work that we do as higher education across the state, not only here in the state, but also across the country and across the world. So with that, happy to answer any questions or leave time for you to comment on this, and then of course I'll be happy to share about a couple of other things as well.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Let me just add, so Moonjoy times 1,000 for everyone, right? We're so excited about this, but I think that, NASA Mishu can be, unfortunately, a well-kept secret. And people don't realize that in our backyard, we have the facility that is building the core rockets. And so we'll talk a little bit about our Artemis III in my comments, but the idea that we are seeing our students do this important work says that we do amazing things, big things, and I know you all have heard some of the conversation about trying to attract more aerospace manufacturing to Louisiana, and so I want to just put an exclamation point on the importance of our students having these opportunities, Louisiana continuing to recruit great economic development opportunities, and just very excited about this update for you. So Tristan, thank you for that.
I think it is worth pausing to realize the kind of the stretch of this too, because it is not only, it is amazing to think of the work of these engineers, but this work also has all kinds of sort of spin-off kind of aspects. I know Troy Blanchard is there in the audience today, and he'll keep me honest with this. I know that part of the work was LSU actually developed a three-dimensional modeling technology that allows all kinds of ways in which they can think about modeling three-dimensional space. One of the applications of this was for them to build a very detailed 3D model to see whether or not and how they could actually get the rocket out of the hangar. Because, it's enormously large and very heavy, and you don't want to just have some sort of some of us maybe remember the Friends episode where Ross is trying to get the couch up the stairs. Well, you don't want to be doing this with an enormous rocket. And so this fascinating technology that LSU developed allowed people to be able to do this in a very detailed way, but in a virtual way, so that they could actually then know with confidence that they were then able to maneuver this rocket out of where they needed to so that it could then be launched. So I think the spin-offs are just, I think, quite astonishing. So let me pivot to some other news. So we, and in so many ways, this work empowers more of what it is that we're doing. We've just been talking about, we are part of a first-of-its-kind pilot data study in partnership with the National Association of System Heads, now the National Association of Higher Education Systems, NASH, and the United States Census, and also the National Student Clearinghouse. What this data allows us to do is in so many ways be able to answer questions that we've never been able to answer before. As things currently stand, and I think I've shared with you many times before, when people stay in the state, which of course we would love for them to do, we can answer many questions about what they do, what they earn, what their occupations are. But when they leave the state, we really have no information about where they are, what they do, or anything about it. This work, in partnership with these partners and then the schools in the LSU system and in the Southern system, will for the very first time be able to, on a systematic way, be able to see what it is that happens to our alums no matter where they go across the country. And so, as I say, this is really exciting work for us to be able to do. We hope that it will, as part of that work, then be able to develop techniques and models which we certainly will look to try to spread across our other schools here in Louisiana, but also will then serve as a model, I know that's the intention of NASH, serve as a model for other states and other institutions all across the country. And the fact that we were chosen just really is a huge testimony to the terrific work that the data team do here at the Board of Regents. The reality is that they do very quiet work that we don't often talk in detail about, but the work that they do is at a national level, and the fact that we were chosen to be part of this pilot, I think is testimony to that. So, and with that, happy to answer any other questions that you have, but also happy to adjourn.
Any questions for Dr. Denley, Regents? Any comments? Dr. Denley, thank you. I think it's the confidence in your leadership and analytic ability that allows us to do these types of things and to be on the cutting edge. So thank you and the Commissioner for your leadership and making sure that we're a part of innovation, and looking forward to that data as we grapple with the education to workforce pipeline. So we appreciate that. But there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Reeves, second by Sarter. Any further discussion? There being none, we are adjourned.
Thank you. I was remiss in not mentioning that we do have campus representatives, as we always do for these presentations. They come a long way, and so it's, I certainly didn't want to let the moment go by without recognizing that they are sure enough here today.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you all so much. Next is Facilities and Property Committee. Regent Aubrey, will you please call your committee to order?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're now called to order the April Facilities and Property Committee. Mr. Chris Herring, would you please assist in calling the roll?
Yes, sir. Chair Aubrey, Vice Chair
Present.
Temple, Regent Glazer, Regent May, Regent Meir,
Present.
Regent Pryor, Regent Shamia, LCTC representative, Southern representative, UL system representative,
Here.
LSU representative.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We have a full house. We got all the system represented as well. That's great. We'll now move to item number 3 on the consent agenda. We have 7 small capital projects and 1 third-party project to consider.
Yes, sir. So the following slides contain the small capital projects and the single third-party project that has been staff approved since our last Facilities and Property Committee meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions on any projects. Otherwise, we recommend approval of the consent agenda.
All right. Thank you, Chris. You've heard the recommendations, committee members. Is there a motion that we approve the items on the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Regent May, seconded by Regent Meir. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Chris, we will now move to presentation of the third-party project report.
We have item 4.
Item
Mr.
4
Chair,
then.
the capital outlay additions.
All right. Item 4 is the additions to the Board of Regents fiscal year 26-27 capital outlay budget recommendations. I'll give you background, Chris.
Yes, sir. So we have 8 projects we're looking to add to the capital outlay bill this year. 4 are originating from the LSU system and 4 from Grambling State University. So I'll touch on the LSU and then I'll move to the 4 from Grambling. But the first one from LSU involves a parking garage adjacent to their new downtown health sciences campus that's being built in downtown Alexandria. Currently, there's a surface lot adjacent to the new site, and the garage is going to be approximately 270 space parking garage, which will provide controlled access and better safety to the new building once it's complete. The second project relates to a construction and engineering student hall on LSU's main campus. They currently have a construction management building underway or design underway that is dedicated primarily to hands-on learning and laboratory type space. This facility will be a 40,000 square foot building dedicated primarily to classroom type space and educational space. They received or have $15 million pledged in private donations that will go towards this project. The remaining half will be funded by the state, but they're not asking for state dollars in the upcoming fiscal year. Then the last 2 items for LSU Eunice and LSU Shreveport relate to deferred maintenance issues. Both institutions have electrical grid systems that are severely outdated. It is cost prohibitive to try and repair these systems when issues occur, and the risk of failure for any of these systems would, severely hamper the institution's ability to operate. So, in light of the uncertainty related to sustained deferred maintenance funding next year, they're seeking to add these 2 as well. I'm happy to answer any questions on the LSU items prior to moving over to the Grambling 4. But if there are no questions, I'll continue.
And I think with regard to the LSU items, and just as will be anticipating for the Grambling. These were basically adding these items to our previously approved capital outlay for the 26-27.
Correct.
And while many of them work through some of the final, I mean, I guess the legislature and what other funding sources, you know, there'll be ongoing, at least allow them to move forward in the process.
Right. And the other three, outside the LSU main campus project, the other three are strictly state funded with state dollars or looking for state dollars.
Okay. Any questions on the LSU ones? All right. Move forward.
Okay, so the next set is 4 projects from Grambling State University. They're seeking to have these 4 projects outed to House Bill 2 to provide the budget authority to move forward if they're successful in securing a federal historically black colleges and universities loan. The HBCU loans are provided to historically black colleges and universities for low interest amounts to provide infrastructure enhancements and upgrades to campus. So the 4 in question here are looking to be added. The first one is a campus dining and student union facility. The total on this item is $25 million. The second item is a hotel and conference center, which will be about a 120-bed conference center and hotel located there. The next one is a perimeter security fence project. As you remember, this project has been requested through capital outlay for the last several years, and they've been unsuccessful in having it funded through the state. So this is an important project for the campus to provide more controlled access to the institution. And then the last item, again, is deferred maintenance improvements. And again, with the theme of the uncertainty over continued funding. You know, like every other institution, they have a large need of outstanding projects that need to be accomplished, and this financing will allow them to do some of those projects. I will say on these 4, again, we're just providing the authority to be in House Bill 2 to give them the budget authority to move forward. At this time, the details of the financing and the interest rate and the mechanisms for paying the loan back have not been established. But if they do clear that up in the next few months and the projects are not in House Bill 2, they'll be delayed until next session before they'd have the authority to move forward. So they'll be coming back to the board at a later date once the details are finalized, and we'll present the complete project information and financing to the board.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Mr. Board Chair,
Not the committee chair.
Mr. Committee Chair, I would note while we're out on the Grambling State portion, we do have an illustrious group that's come down from Grambling. The university president is here, Dr. Martin Lamel, and the COO, Ms. Pena Moses. I see them here.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, I'm not on your committee, but I do have a question. I want to understand the gymnastics that you went through at the end. So we're going to approve this $90 million in HBCU loan, and then it's going to come back. Are we endorsing, or are we going to approve it when it comes and we understand the payment conditions?
it's my understanding that we are authorizing the institution to move forward, and we are supporting that these particular items are added to House Bill 2 as a part of the capital outlay budget request. If that is not established, the institution cannot move forward and work with the division administration and even do the whole procurement. This project will have to come back. It has to be legislatively authorized before they could go through with the final project for the financing and moving it forward. So yeah, we've already done our capital outlay projects, and so now LSU, they got some new money and some new projects along with these Grambling. We're amending it and moving it forward to make it a part of our House Bill 2.
Will the LSU system, I mean, will the UL system have to approve it before it then comes
Yes.
to us?
Yes.
So the terms and the responsibility for the payment of the loans will then run through the UL system and then will come to us endorsed, provided all the other steps are.
That's correct.
Just want to make sure. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I will tell you, when, you know, it kind of raised, I'm like you. Because when you look at it, when you look at the summary of the LSU, a lot of them, they're one-time funding, there's auxiliary, there's some operating, some ACT dollars. And in this one particularly, is, you know, both this one and the one we'll discuss next are loans. And they're pretty sizable. And we've had a lot of questions. The region's been called to task about a lot about managing debt and doing things like that. And so there are just a number of questions. And I appreciate the president. I think I shared some with Commissioner Reed. She saw the president at the investiture. He called, and we talked last week, and we talked this week. And a lot of the questions we kind of still unanswered. But they're going through and looking at the feasibility, looking at pro formas, looking at, you know, just all things. The HBCU finance is a great tool. Back in the day, there was some debt refinance using it to save the university a lot of money under President Gallo. And fortunately, President Trump, before he left term the last time, forgave all that debt. So it's really made a big difference. I said maybe that's the strategy they're planning to do this time. I don't know, but I will say we've talked about it, and there's considerable discussion ongoing, and particularly the hotel and the conference center. And I know there may be other questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I have some questions about the hotel and conference center myself. I don't want to waste time for this meeting, but I will talk about the email because I had some experience with the Kellogg Center in Tuskegee, which had a similar concept, and it's been off and on with, I guess, with the initial developer and then who's actually franchising the hotel now. So I kind of want to talk to you about that, but we're early on in the project, and we can talk about that because I want to make sure you guys don't have that same problem.
All right. We can get into it, Mr. President. Is there anything more you want to add at this point? Okay. All right. But yeah, we will. You know, and mine was, you know, I think I asked Chris, is there any other institution, you know, in Louisiana at this point, you know, operating the hotel and how that looks and public-private partnership. There's a lot of questions that are floating out there, but no, we will have to come back, and we respect the role the system will play in looking at some of those things as well.
I think LSU has the Lord Cook Hotel.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking at that model. That we've asked some questions. I think, you know, there's a partnership there with the Alumni Association, you know, but yes, there's some discussions about that as well. All right.
Thank you, Chair Cordell, and I want to also welcome Dr. Lamel. Certainly, Dr. Gallo commented earlier that his wife reminded him that Grambling finally has a good president. So, Dr. Lamel, we will work very closely with you to ensure that this investment is accretive to Grambling's success, and before it comes back to Regents, you know, for the next step, we do want to assure that we're responsible and that we have good outcomes, and those desired results complement the experiences at Grambling, and Grambling's in a good position to support it.
Okay. All right. So what's your recommendation?
Okay, the recommendation is, and just bear with me, senior staff recommends approval of the 8 additions to the Board of Regents fiscal year 26-27 capital outlay budget recommendations submitted on behalf of 4 Louisiana State University system institutions and Grambling State University. Approval of the Grambling State University project is limited to inclusion in House Bill 2. Grambling State University shall return to the University of Louisiana system and the Board of Regents for final approval once all project details are finalized.
May I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Well, Regent Pryor, Regent Temple, I'm going to have to give it to him. He got you before Regent May. We have a motion and a second that we approve the staff recommendation as detailed by Chris Herring. And any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Next, item 5, third-party project, Southern University A&M housing.
Okay, The final agenda item this month is a request from the Southern University system to construct new student housing on the main campus here in Baton Rouge. This is a two-phase project, but we're only considering phase one today, which involves construction of a four-story, approximately 500-bed facility adjacent to the Student Rec Center. It's up on the hill, kind of over the canal there, going up towards the back of the campus. This is it's going to be a traditional lease-back agreement where they'll lease the site through a facilities and grounds lease to the foundation, and the foundation will be responsible for construction and design of the facility. The term is going to be a 40-year term. They're seeking financing through the Louisiana Public Facilities Authority. The construction cost, construction and design cost is going to be approximately $43 million, with a total issuance in the $53 to $55 million range. That includes debt service funds, maintenance reserve funds, the cost of issuance, and all costs associated with issuing the debt. The institution currently has a wait list for housing. This project will allow them to satisfy the wait list, as well as provide some additional opportunities for students that may want a different type of housing or not living on campus that would prefer to live on campus. So there'll be sufficient space within the new facility to capture that. It will be dedicated to first and second year students, and the second phase will be dedicated to upper class students. The pro forma provided by the system indicates the revenues generated from the facility will be sufficient to service the debt. There's a coverage ratio of 1.07, which implies there is a 7% cushion over debt and estimated operating costs. But as part of the bond issuance, there will be a pledge of general revenues of the institution in case the housing numbers do not suffice. It's important to note they are including a first fill requirement associated with this housing facility, so it will receive priority in terms of housing students prior to other locations on campus. We do have members from Southern University in attendance as well, but I'm happy to answer any questions on the item.
Yes, Mr. Committee Chair. I'm looking right at Southern University Chancellor, Dr. John Pierre, is here, and we welcome you here along with the folks from Grambling. Proud to see you all here, and as we consider this sorely needed project.
Thank you, Regent Pryor. And a difference is this project is not being part of House Bill 2. This is a final approval for this system to move forward and for Southern University to execute this project. Is that correct?
Well, with one caveat. Upon our approval, it will have to go to Bond Commission next month, who will be the end-all be-all. But yes, this is our one and only approval for this project. And the target date, if approved by Bond Commission next month, the goal is to have these facilities open for the fall 27 semester.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
When does phase 2 going to start?
Phase,
When is the implementation of phase 2 for the fall?
I don't know if that's established. I'll let the Chancellor answer that one.
Hit that
So the idea is we start phase 1 with construction in June of 2026, and that we would then, with the expected opening of August 2027, and then phase 2 would be sometime either in the fall 2026 or spring 2027, with the opening of August 2028.
And currently, are freshmen required to stay on campus?
They're not required, but we're going to have a first fill with respect to that. And right now, our greatest demand is our freshman class has grown leaps and bounds, and we could not accommodate the freshmen is not.
Thank you, Chancellor.
So to be clear, in other words, this will be the newest facility, And before freshmen, first and second year students are assigned to any other facility, they're going to be assigned to this one first.
Exactly.
And-
First fit.
Okay. And then the other, do you have any other on-campus housing that has debt associated with it?
No, we do not.
Okay. And this is what old quad, that, with the,
It'll be in that quad area where we also have a new public safety facility, and we have a relatively new rest.
okay. All right. Any other members, any other questions? Okay. What's your recommendation?
Yes, sir. Senior staff recommends approval of the third-party project submitted by the Southern University Board of Supervisors on behalf of Southern University and A&M College for the purpose of constructing Phase 1 of the new student housing.
All right, you've heard the recommendation. All right, motion by Regent Mears, second by Regent Temple. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Invite us to the groundbreaking. All right, Chris, what other business do we have?
There is no other business today, sir.
If not, then do we have a motion that we adjourn? No other business, the motion passes. We are adjourned.
Okay, members, we are going to take a short break for lunch. We'll be back at 12:30. Thank you.
Good, good.
Hey, Regents, we're going to get started a little bit early. Next is the Research and Sponsored Initiatives Committee. Regent Hickson, will you please call your committee to order?
Let me see, make sure if I've got my microphone on, so I do. Carrie, it's good to see you. I actually looked for you earlier and didn't see you, and I started to panic. If you weren't here, I was going to be worried. So all's good. And so I'd like to call the April Research and Sponsored Initiatives Committee meeting to order. And Ms. Robinson, will you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Chair Hickson?
Here.
Here. Vice Chair Meir? Regent Finley? Regent Glazer? Regent Pryor? Regent Shamia? Pryor's here, and so is Meir, huh?
Yeah, they are.
So good, yeah.
Okay, you have a quorum with them.
We have a quorum, good. So let's go ahead and proceed. Next is item 3, and that's the division of the endowed chair into endowed professorships, and that's at LSU. Ms. Robinson, would you go ahead and proceed?
Absolutely. LSU has requested to divide the Marjorie Uso Endowed Chair in Accounting Systems into 4 $500,000 endowed professorships to maximize the value of those endowment dollars to the Department of Accounting in the College of Business. Donor permission is not required for this particular division because the private contribution for this was left in an estate document, and that left LSU with decision-making power over the endowment. So the senior staff recommends approval of the division of the Orso Chair in Accounting Systems into the 4 endowed professorships you see before you.
So do we have... Make sure my microphone's on. Members, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Dr. Shameen. So we have a motion. Is there a second? I'm not sure if anybody else in our committee... Regent Pryor is we're looking for a second. He has a second. Yes, we do. We have a motion and we have a second. Are there any further discussions of this motion? With that, we'll entertain approval, motion to approve. Vote with the sign of aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry. I'm not hearing anything good or bad. So congratulations. It does pass. And
Thank you.
And so anyway, is there any further business or any other business that needs to come before this committee?
No, sir.
All right. So we are good. Hearing none, I will ask at this point for a motion to adjourn. Well, I have a motion. Do we have a second? Well, I have a second, and so we're going to go ahead and pass that with unanimous intent. So thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you for your help, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Next is Statewide Programs Committee. Regent Reeves, will you please call your committee to order?
Yes, I'd like to call the April Statewide Programs Committee to order. Dr. Craig, will you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Chair Reeves.
Here.
Vice Chair Pryor. Regent Glazer. Regent May.
Here.
Regent Sterling. Regent Sarda. Ma'am, you have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item is the consent agenda. Dr. Craig, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. So we have 6 items on the consent agenda for the statewide programs this month. Our first 3 items on the agenda are actually just final rulemaking required to implement acts from the 2025 legislative session. So the first that you see on your slide here is for the Go Teach program. What this did was make this scholarship program a first dollar program, meaning that the Go Teach program can be applied first before any other scholarship program. The second provides that the MJ Foster Promise Advisory Council is the council that determines eligible programs for the MJ Foster Promise programs, TOPS Tech and TOPS Tech Early Start programs. And these all were passed during the 2025 legislative session. The third implements TOPS rulemaking, including, the third implements TOPS rulemaking, including the Excellence Award, reducing the required ACT requirement for home study participants, allowing, there used to be a discrepancy for home study participants. Those who are who in home study programs had to have a higher ACT to be eligible for TOPS. Now it is the same. It also allows for the use of the classic learning test to make students eligible for TOPS. It also delays the implementation of the computer science requirement for high school graduates to the graduates of 2030-31. And it also implements the TOPS core equivalents that were approved in April of 25. So lots that happened over the course of the 2025 legislative session. We have to go through a whole notice of intent process and then bring them to you for final rulemaking, and that's what we have here today. So the final 3 consent agenda items are our TOPS exceptions that you see here. The first provides for an exception to the ACT deadline. So in the law, it requires that students must achieve a qualifying score on the ACT no later than the national ACT testing date. And it was brought to our attention that there were some schools in the state, they happened to be private schools, but there were schools in the state that scheduled their testing date after the national ACT testing date. If a student fails to get the qualifying, fails to get their qualifying score after the ACT, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me back up. I'm getting out of order. So if a student fails to earn a qualifying score prior to the national testing date, and they achieve that qualifying score after the national testing date, they lose 1 semester of eligibility for TOPS. And unless the board determines that the student was unable to take the test before that due date due to circumstances beyond the student's control. Well, what was brought to our attention is that these schools scheduled they actually scheduled their school testing date cycle that after the national ACT test date, and ACT allowed them to schedule their date. And so we have since had conversations with these schools. We have already sent out communications from LASFA about the national ACT date for next year so that this does not happen moving forward. But what we're asking you today is that you will allow us to grant this waiver, if you will, of the test date for these two schools so that any student that qualifies from these schools will be eligible to use those scores and not lose a semester of eligibility. But we also are asking your permission that if we find out that there are any others in this same situation, that you give us the permission to grant these schools the same waiver this year, noting that we've already taken the steps, put the steps in place so that this does not happen again for next year. So that is the first one. The second one are regular TOPS home study exceptions that you see regularly. We have 2 TOPS home study exceptions for this year. And then we also have our regular TOPS exceptions this year, of which there are 16. All of these have gone before the TOPS Advisory Board and have been recommended to bring to you for approval today. I'm happy to talk more about the, I'm going to back up. I'm happy to talk more about the ACT exception. Again, this was brought to us by the schools. Once they realized that they themselves scheduled after the national ACT date, and that's why we're bringing it to you. This was not the fault of the students. So, in light of that, the LASFA Advisory Board recommends approval of the consent agenda items.
Thank you, Dr. Craig. Members of the committee, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda items? So moved by Regent May. Second, do I have a second? Oh, second by Regent Sarda. Thank you. Any opposition? Okay, very good. Hearing none, the motion passes. Next up is item 5, our statewide program spotlight. This month, we will hear from Lewis, the Louisiana Library Network. Joining us today is Ms. Emily Frank, the Interim Executive Director for Lewis. Thank you, Ms. Frank.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here and get the chance to share with you all about Lewis, Louisiana's statewide academic library consortium. Lewis was founded in 1992 by academic library deans and directors working to achieve greater operational efficiency and effectiveness. What you see here are Lewis's strategic values: collaboration, advocacy, transparency, support, and affordability. These strategic values shape our decision-making and direction, and they're also going to be what I'll be highlighting today, how we act on these values throughout our work. Beginning with our value of collaboration, Lewis has 47 members. All libraries at Louisiana's public and private colleges and universities are members of Lewis, and these members work together to maximize value. That includes by leveraging their collective purchasing power. Members and then their students and faculty get access to a higher level of academic content and services at a dramatically lower cost than what individual libraries could achieve on their own. This is truly noteworthy, and I just want to share an example of that. This is from Dr. David Sesser, who's the library director at Southeastern University. He was at a conference in Arkansas, and a colleague there shared with him that Arkansas does not have a similar organization, and the academic libraries are struggling with cost-sharing agreements. They have recognized Lewis as a program to emulate. Lewis is a model of what academic libraries could be across the country. That access to technology and information is a demonstration of our value of support. Lewis manages library infrastructure that's critical to library operations and also used by students and faculty to discover academic information. Membership also provides 24/7 access to a core set of electronic academic resources that span disciplines, and institutions can opt into additional resources to further expand access to meet curriculum and research needs of their campus while still leveraging that group pricing. Lewis also provides responsive technical support. We have a ticketing system and a knowledge base, and then ongoing training approaches to strengthen capacity at our member institutions. And I just want to touch a bit more on that strengthening capacity and engaging membership piece, because that is really central to what we do at Lewis. It's a complex landscape in which we all work, and we are lucky that libraries in Louisiana really embrace a culture of sharing. We at Lewis want to amplify that so that we can all be learning from each other and not reinventing the wheel. And so some ways that we do that, we have workshops and webinars and an annual conference. We were grateful to have Regent Reeves as our keynote last year.
She was fantastic.
Yes, yes.
We also have community building tools. We have a member-written newsletter, the Lewis Lanyap, and a podcast series, Listen with Lewis. And these are mechanisms to connect libraries with ideas and best practices, but also to connect them with one another. Shifting to our value of affordability, you've heard briefly about how we leverage the strength of our collective power to negotiate pricing for library technology and academic resources, but we also use that collective strength to positively impact course materials for students, to lower the cost of education and reduce financial barriers to student success. Lewis and our member libraries support the availability and use of open and educational affordable resources, open educational resources, or OER, being teaching and learning materials that are openly licensed, adaptable, and freely available online, and affordable educational resources, or AER, being materials like library licensed ebooks that come at a cost to libraries when added to their collection, but then are subsequently free to students at that institution. And for a number of years now, academic libraries have been supporting faculty to use and create alternatives to costly commercial textbooks, and we see the collective impact of this work on this slide. This is work that really yields a high return on investment. Sure.
That's okay.
LSU as SLCC derivative, why is the student savings such a huge there versus other places?
It is, different institutions have different levels of maturity in this work. And so LSUS, for example, has a really engaged team at the library who are doing so much to promote the use of open educational resources and affordable educational resources. They have a robust program that's connecting the library collection with faculty so that they can teach using library ebooks. So more years of maturity, more maybe embraced by the campus and by the faculty there.
So if there were other,
Regent.
if other institutions had that type of engagement, that number would be a lot higher.
That's right. So this can continue to grow. There's definitely room for growth moving forward in this space.
Yeah, and Regent Temple, like that's being shared here, LSUS, and I can only brag on this because I'm a student going there, but our library system has pushed using open textbooks and has pushed our professors to use those textbooks rather than the textbooks that they have decided. So that way all students have access to those textbooks, and that's one of those biggest saving numbers there is going to be textbook usage. So LSUS has fantastically, our Dean Brian Sherman there, our Dean of the Library, has worked very hard to ensure that Lewis funding is kept and Lewis becomes our venue to have open access textbook, open access resources, and especially not just for our undergraduate population, but our graduate population have used Lewis services to get textbooks from other institutions, which is one of the Iliad programs that Lewis offers, allows for books to be shared between member institutions. And the ability to do that has really impacted out, and that's why you see LSUS at the top there. And again, I'm only speaking from experience because I'm a student that goes there, and I can assure you that, especially in the CS department, we have used those open computer or open textbooks as our textbooks for those classes.
Great.
And part of that work that LSUS and others have been involved in comes through 3 federal grants that we've had funded. In fact, this has brought together over 600 academic librarians and teaching faculty across the state to create over 60 now open textbooks and corresponding course shell. These are available freely in Louisiana, but also across the world. I'm so grateful that you spoke up because we always love to include student voices and perspectives in this work. I don't have that here, but I do have what it means from a faculty member. Yes, I agree. I agree. So this is from Dr. Natasha Witten, Associate Professor of English and Humanities at Baton Rouge Community College, and she shared, "I teach world history to community college and dual enrollment students, and I don't know how I would teach the course without OER, Open Educational Resources. Having access to course materials on the first day of class is so important for success, and there are so many barriers to getting the right textbook or other materials. My students generally breathe a sigh of relief when I tell them that everything for the course is provided for them. We can focus on the important tasks of learning and skill building. Louis provided me with the confidence not just to choose OER, but to take a hand in writing and modifying it to meet the specific needs of my students." So we're so proud of this work. Shifting now just to our last two values, first with transparency. Louis coordinates pieces of Act 125 of the 2019 legislative session. This includes textbook adoption data reporting requirements for public post-secondary institutions, and outcomes include increasing student awareness of courses using those open and affordable course materials at the point of registration, and improving the library's ability to impact access and affordability through measures like those collection development measures, affordable educational resources. We also engage in data-driven decision-making. We provide and analyze data for ourselves, but also provide that for our Louis members. And we make sure that when we're making decisions, we're including those members in that process so that if we're changing or even maintaining resources and initiatives, that is guided by our members and responsive to their needs. And then I just want to close today with this value of advocacy. Academic libraries in Louisiana are deeply connected to their campuses, their students, and the strategic goals of their institutions. I could really talk about this all day, but I'm limiting myself to 3 examples. So above our logo there, you see Alexandria Campus Library at Central Louisiana Technical Community College. The folks there describe that library as a versatile hub that offers both quiet study space with the capacity to host major events like the one that we see here, which was a new student orientation led by the CTE Early College and Career Academy Coordinator, Miss Elizabeth Campbell Allen. A strategic goal at CLTCC is to increase opportunities for student access and success, and the library is a really essential partner in that work. In the middle there, this is Random Snacks of Kindness from Northwestern State University's Watson Library. You know, we know that a sense of belonging is what keeps people coming back, whether that's to the library or to a class or to the campus. And so through fun and informal events like this, library staff can meet students and share snacks, but they can also foster a sense of community and demonstrate interest in the well-being of a student there. And then the final picture is from Southern University and A&M College's new student orientation. John B. Cade Library welcomed first-year freshmen and new transfer students there, and Dr. Maya Banks, one of the librarians participating, said, "We want every student to know that the library is more than just a building. It's a partner in their academic success. Whether they need quiet study, research help, or a place to connect, Cade Library is here for them every step of the way." So thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed getting to shine the spotlight on Louis and the work of our members with you all.
Thank you, Ms. Frank. And thank you for your long-term commitment. I know you've been with the organization since, 2018?
That's
but
right.
Thank you for stepping up in December in a leadership role. We appreciate that. And having been involved with Louis since its inception, I can definitely personally testify to the great work that you guys do. So thank you for coming. Are there any questions? Any additional questions for Ms. Frank? Okay, hearing none. Is there any other business to come before the committee?
No, ma'am.
Well, hearing none, then I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, moved and seconded. Any other discussion, objections? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Our final committee is Planning, Research, and Performance. Since Regent Glazier is not present today, Regent Williams-Brown, will you please call your committee to order?
I'd like to call the April Planning, Research, and Performance Committee meeting to order. Dr. Craig, will you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Regent Chair Glazer, Vice Chair Williams-Brown.
Here.
Regent David.
Here.
Regent Hickson.
Here.
Regent Meyer. Regent Reeves.
Here.
Regent Sarda.
Here.
Ma'am, you have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item is the consent agenda. Dr. Craig, please proceed.
We have one item on the consent agenda for you today. There are 4 schools who have submitted renewal applications for this meeting. We have Alliant International University, CBD College. The name origin for that is Community-Based Education and Development College out of Los Angeles, California. I did, and I was prepared for that, sir. The Chicago School from New Orleans, the Chicago School is connected at Xavier, and then the San Joaquin Valley College, also in California. All 4 of these institutions are accredited and have online programs with some type of physical presence in Louisiana. We are asking that you recommend approval of the items on the consent agenda.
Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda? Okay. Regent Reeves and Regent David seconded. Is there further discussion? Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Is there any other business to come before the committee?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Craig. I'd like to call the April Board of Regents meeting to order. Members, remember we're being live streamed, so you'll need to turn on your microphones and please make sure you have your phones turned off. Ms. Skycave, will you please call the roll? Here.
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 All right. Next up is public comments. Are there any public comments? Hearing none, I'll ask for any additional public comment to be listed under other business. Members, you received a copy of the minutes from March 24th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
Second.
Aubrey and Temple. Any further discussion? Any questions or objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll vote on all the committee reports and recommendations in globo. However, if any board member wishes to take up any of the committee reports separately, please let me know and we can consider those individually. Is there anyone who wishes to take up any committee report separately? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the committee recommendations from today's committee meeting in globo?
Motion.
Sterling, all right,
Second.
and Hickson. Any further discussion, questions, or objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Next on the agenda today is our monthly momentum moment. Today will feature 2 parts. The first part, joining Dr. Denley at the table, is Dr. Helen Wise, the Associate Provost at LSU Shreveport. Dr. Wise will share with us how LSUS has implemented the Momentum Framework and the impact that work has had on her student success outcomes. Dr. Denley and Dr. Wise, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Regents, for allowing us to come today and talk to you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Regents, for allowing us to come today and talk to you a little bit about how LSUS operationalized the framework and how that has impacted our outcomes. I would also like to recognize that I brought my friend and colleague, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Student Success, Angie Pellerin, who has worked alongside me in this effort today. First, I want to tell you a little bit about who LSUS is. We are not LSU Baton Rouge, we are not LSUE, we are not LSUA. But I do think it's important because when we started looking at how we were going to approach the momentum framework and the work that we had to do, it was very important that we understood who our students were. We only have 27 bachelor's programs, 12 master's, and a doctoral. We're 30% undergraduate and 80% total online. Of all of our graduate students, 97% are online. At the very bottom, though, I want to draw your attention to some work that we did early on to understand the risk and the needs of our students. About 70% of our students who are on campus commute from within a 70-mile radius. Almost 1/3 of our undergraduates are over the age of 25. 54% of our full-time first-time freshmen are Pell recipients, and 53% are first gen. We took all of these things seriously when we started to put together our response to the framework. One of the things that we did, LSUS has a small but mighty budget. We all wear multiple hats, but we have looked at the momentum approach from the Board of Regents as our North Star. If we were not all rowing in the same direction, none of this was going to work. And so if you walk onto our campus right now and you ask most of our faculty and staff, what is the goal? They will tell you the 60% of adults will have a credential of value by 2030 because we have operationalized that on our campus. And I think having Dr. Denley come in 2022 and speak to our campus about what we were doing was critical. As a result of the momentum approach in Louisiana, we became affiliated with a Gates Foundation intermediary for scale, which is Complete College America. And we are one of 8 colleges in the state of Louisiana that participates in their accelerator program. If it were not for the momentum approach, we would never have been connected with Complete College America. What they've been able to provide us is technical assistance far beyond the capabilities that we financially could have applied, and it has all been free. Free professional development. We have had numerous opportunities to network with funders. I was sitting next to a grants person from the Ascendium Group in Tucson last week and was very proud to reach over and thank him for the $100,000 grant that we were able to get because of this work. Nice. But we also knew that we did not have the evidence-based knowledge to be able to do this on our own campus, and we contracted with the Gardner Institute to provide that project management for us. What it has allowed us to do is to have one singular goal and one singular focus, and all of that was on student success, which we were able to refine into our QEP. And if you walk on our campus, you will see navigating student success everywhere you go. How were we able to do this? And I want to share with you the single most impactful piece of data that we have used on our campus right now. We use this when we present at national conferences and we talk about catapult courses. It is not enough to identify high volume courses, but which courses actually contribute. And what I'm showing you there is a snapshot of our freshman seminar course. The freshman seminar course that everyone on campus had an idea about, few people had ownership over. And when we looked at our data, we were able to see that if a student did not earn an A, they were less likely to graduate. So we focused very specifically that this would be our first course for Gateway course redesign. So in 2023 and 2024, After attending our first Momentum Conference, we were tasked with a 30, 60, and 90-day plan, which we took off with. And in doing that, we worked with the Gardner Institute as well as the data that was provided by the Board of Regents as part of the Momentum framework. And we were able to identify several evidence-based interventions that we felt would have a significant impact on our retention, which at the time was 33%. That was not, oh, sorry, our graduation rates were 33%. That was not good for us. So there were 6 specific interventions that we looked at, and one of them was called Us at LSU's Readiness Day. Everyone goes to orientation and you leave with a packet of material and your fingers crossed that the first day is going to be successful. Our student development team looked at what were the biggest risks for students to be placed, bonded, and to be successful on the first day. And it was very simple things like having them log into their student email and sending an email, having them log into the LMS, having them walk around and find their classes, having them talk about and normalizing help-seeking behavior, and then inviting their families to have dinner with us. The second thing that we did is we have expanded our 4-week grade interventions. Every student in a 1 and 200 level class must have a graded assignment within the first month and know where they are. That must be publicly communicated to the student. And by midterm, we do outreach on any student who has a D or an F in a gateway course. I've already spoken to you a little bit about the first year seminar course redesign, but that took a job task analysis approach. We looked around and we asked ourselves, what does an entering freshman need to be able to know, think, feel, or do, to what proficiency, and by what time in the year? And what we were able to do is to offload many of the regulatory things that were happening in freshman seminar that made it seem very transactional and move to that sense of belonging, academic integrity, and talking more about career readiness as well as transferable skills. But how were we going to measure it? So we have to have an assessment. We opted to use the CSI, which is the College Student Inventory, as well as the mid-year student assessment in our first year experience. The other thing that we decided to do was to integrate holistic support by providing peers embedded, as well as assistants in those first year seminar courses to help students. But the one I think that has been the most impactful is something called our SOAR Academic Recovery. This was a completely optional program for students who would have been on probation. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. What does the Momentum Framework look like at LSUS? This is what I want to share with you, because when we went back, we had to take a look at who were our students. And the very first thing that we decided is all programming must be targeted to the students with the most needs so that we ensure that we're helping all students. When it comes to everyone, student-centered approaches, we looked at removing barriers, things such as, would you know who to go to if you need to register for classes? Do you know what students said? Well, we go to our counselor for that. No, that's not what we do here. So really making sure that we include first-gen and underrepresented students by addressing the hidden curriculum. We also, using things like Us at LSUS, as well as those, the SOAR activities to build supportive, help-seeking behavior and cultivating relationships. The second thing, which I believe may speak to the question, we definitely looked at an assessment of risk factors. So the CSI was able to give us 2 indicators for each student. Where were they most likely to have risk? Was it financial risk, emotional, academic? And then secondly, how receptive were they? Because every student does not need to receive the same level of support. And last but not least, everything that we have done has been around the growth, purpose, and sense of belonging. Activities and assignments were embedded that give that GPS. But I know you really want to know, how is this translated into actionable outcomes that matter? Do you remember that I said we chose to look at our first year seminar course because we knew that that was going to be the one course every student had? We've gone from 58% of students receiving an A to 65%. And if I was as eloquent and good of a mathematician as Dr. Denley, I'm sure he could tell you what that would translate into. I myself am not. Even more importantly, I want you to look at our fall to spring retention in the 1 year that all we did really was a few simple tweaks. We saw a 4% retention in our fall to spring numbers in the fall of 2023. We saw an 11% retention in that first to second. Look at the second spring semester. We are up to 67%. The highest we've ever been was 57. But even more significantly, from 2019 to 2023, we have managed to move our first to third year retention from 46% to almost 65%. That was, thank you. When you open up the pipeline, when you have everyone focused on student success and not programming, and when everyone is being told, this is your job right now. If you come on our campus, you will hear our chancellor say, student success is everyone's job. It's in everyone's job description. We have seen a little bit of a dip in 2024, but as my mathematician friend will tell you, 2 years is not a trend. We're waiting for that third year, and hopefully we'll have that to come back to. But even more importantly is that face-to-face only cohort. Those are the students that we are cultivating to live in our state far beyond when we are here. If you look at our overall first to second year retention, that went up 3.5%. What is far more important to us is that our students that were most at risk when we began this actually showed the single most significant increase in our first gen as well as our Pell recipients. We saw a 7% increase. They are now outpacing our overall populace when it comes to retention. That is something that we take a lot of pride in, is closing that gap for our students. So what does 2024 and 2025 look like? Take a look. In 2023, that was a picture of our freshmen at our Us at LSUS. This was not a requirement. We did a little more outreach, changed a few things, and saw a 123% increase in the number of students that were choosing to participate. And by way of telling you, did Us at LSUS make a difference? Students who participated had a 2.23 higher grade point average that, thank you, it was much higher. I couldn't remember that number off the top of my head.
Peanut gallery.
Thank you. Students who actually participated in the Us at LSUS, the place bonding, the helping students figure out those things, where we got ahead of their programs, those students actually had a higher GPA by the end of the first year. Freshman convocation is actually, we made that required this year, and we saw a 50% increase. There's two other very exciting initiatives that we have, and I do want to tell you what we're doing with our Ascendium grant. That is the $100,000 two-year grant. We have chosen, since our QEP is on Gateway course redesign, we are really looking at our career outcomes and have been able to put together a GROW program. How are we growing and imbuing our students with those NACE competencies, our student workers? We have created a program for them. Secondly, we're partnering with an organization called Parker Dewey to have paid micro internships. But the most significant thing is that we are now extending our first year experience with a new course that is a metacognitive course in learning about how to learn about work. We want to have students take an ethnographic exploration. I am a social scientist. This is a social science class. If we can study death and dying, by God, we can study careers. And that's what we are planning on doing for our students to help them get a sense of that. So again, momentum on our campus has been significant. We have actioned it, and we could not be prouder of the work that the staff as well as our students have done on this. Thank you, Regents, for the funding that you've provided.
That is awesome. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for all your work and for your dedication. I mean, what lucky students. You guys are doing a great job there.
Thank you. We agree. We love our students as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When you talked about programming
Yes.
versus the children, they
Yes.
know the difference. Our kids know and feel the difference, and it obviously is making a difference in their lives.
We do, and I will tell you, there's other things that we're doing on campus, but I only had 10 minutes, so I would love to tell you more about that in another one. One of the things that we're doing is moving to centralized advising, where our advisors will now be teaching that first year experience to move them through to the second year. The other thing that we're doing is trying to we're building out a summer research program, which is high impact practices that we're self-funding for students to go to faculty to start to get the research experience that perhaps that they're missing out on. Our goal is early, often remove the barriers, and when we see something wrong, we fix it.
Well, I'll tell you what it shows. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, Regent, I am one of the students that goes through this.
Yes.
This has turned into a really LSUS day here at Board of Regents.
Yes.
So I guess really
why.
serendipitous, but I have to say that LSUS, that S doesn't just stand for Shreveport. That S also stands for students.
Yes.
And the campus administration with Dr. Wise all the way from our chancellor with Chancellor Smith and down below, we have been focusing on students first. And that students first agenda is what you're seeing here with the Momentum Summit. So really commending work done by the administration, and we love to see students be the highlight and be the reason for why we do anything on our campuses.
Good.
Thank you, Devesh. Thank you, Devesh.
You have a walking billboard with Devesh there because we are also very proud of him, and he is so very proud of LSUS.
And we are of him as well. I want to thank you all again. This is a fantastic program. Please keep it going.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I was going to say that LSUS is in a unique position. There's a lot of colleges within an hour of Shreveport, and they've had to grow their campus in tough circumstances. If you grow up in Baton Rouge, there's probably 5 universities within an hour, state universities within an hour, and East Baton Rouge Parish is much larger than Caddo Parish. You have 4 in the hour from Shreveport. So they've done a great job from Dr. Clark to Dr. Smith to maintain in some tough circumstances and to grow the campus population initially through online learning, but they've made an emphasis on trying to improve the on-campus experience, and they've gotten the dorm back, the apartments next door that were owned by a foreign a company. LSU got those back. They're making them attractive. Those apartments had no internet service. Now they have internet. Now they have a meal plan on campus other than fried French fries and hamburgers. People can now get healthy food on campus. The baseball team was undefeated last year, the first team in NCAA history to do so, or NAI. And so it's just, they've done a wonderful jobs in some tough circumstances and tough competition from Grambling that was here earlier, and Louisiana Tech, Northwestern State, and other options, of course, down here in Baton Rouge, other options for the student body. But you can see that they're doing an outstanding job. They're competing, they're growing.
Thank you.
Can I just add one thing? I do appreciate, Dr. Wise, the presentation, the analytics, right? Understanding what it takes, what are the 2 or 3 or 6 things that really matter. Congratulations on that. And I do want to follow the ethnographic study on learning how to learn about work, because there's so much conversation, as you know now, about the education to employment pipeline. So we will encourage you to come back and to share so that we can make sure that all of our students have the opportunity to benefit from that research. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Earlier this month, the Regents rolled out a statewide email campaign aimed at college-eligible students to provide with them the next steps toward a higher education. Dr. Denley, we're so excited to hear more about this program. Would you please tell us a little more about it?
I will be happy to. And I do want to take a personal privilege. I've known Bob Smith for a long time. We've been in a number of states together. He was actually one of the content experts that we invited to the very first Momentum Summit, so I was really excited when he decided to come to Shreveport, and I'm super excited to see the results that Dr. Wise showed today. It takes that kind of effort, and we love to see that kind of work happening. So again, many congratulations for that. So this statewide campaign, so we've actually been trying this quietly across several years. We began with 2 parishes, and then we grew to 3 parishes, and then last year we grew to 10 parishes, and this year we went to, of course, 64 parishes. We went to every parish this year. We sent emails to all of the graduating high school students who have chosen to create an account on LOSFA's website, so they've opted into that data sharing with the state. And then we use that data to then identify what are the schools in their locality that their scores already qualify them to go to. What are we take a look at the admission criteria, we take a look at their scores, and we say, oh, look at that. Your scores already qualify you to apply to LSU Shreveport or to Louisiana Tech or whoever that might be in their region and across the state. And then we send them this personalized email addressed specifically to them. You can see that this one is actually addressed to Chris's daughter, and then it says to them, these are the opportunities that are available locally. Here are people who can help you to achieve that dream. This is contact information to reach out to LOSFA, but then also I think I talked to you a couple of months ago about how we've worked with all of the state's college access network organizations. And so again, as part of that LACAN work, we in this letter are connecting those students not only with the schools in their locality that they qualify for, but also the organizations right there in their parish who will help them on the ground make those kinds of connections. We sent emails to all those students, and then this year we also sent emails to all of those students who qualified for TOPS last year, so they graduated in the spring of 2025. They qualified for TOPS, but they did not, right now, there's no record of them using that scholarship. Now, I think as many of you know, if you qualify for TOPS, you have a full year to actually utilize that, and so those students who graduated last year, they still have that TOPS eligibility. Let me repeat that because they may be listening. They still have that TOPS eligibility, and we really want them to, of course, utilize that TOPS eligibility right here in Louisiana. And so we sent them an email, same things. These are schools that you qualify for, and this is the TOPS award that you qualify for. You've already been pre-approved for that. Click right here and utilize that terrific resource. So I'm happy to say that we sent out those 45,000 some odd emails Again, a big thank you to the tech staff here on the board office. And the click-through rate is really pretty encouraging. The open rate is a good 65%, so about 2/3 of these emails are being opened. For an unsolicited email, that kind of opening rate is actually pretty impressive. And the click-through rate is also pretty good. So it's about 1 in 10 of those are clicking through and following that. Of course, they've only been out for a few days, so that click rate may well also pick up. And if all goes, we are certainly intending to do this again this coming fall with, of course, next year's graduating class. So happy to answer any questions you have, but this is, I think, pretty exciting.
I don't have a question, but I do want to thank Regent Pryor, because I think Regent Pryor last year was the one who said, can't you go to 64 parishes?
Yep.
So we want you to know, mission accepted, sir. We're on it. We're on it. It's happening.
Thank you.
Kristen, for the work you do for our students. We really do appreciate you. We will now move on to the chair's comments. Members, April and May are some of the busiest and most exciting months in higher education. From legislative committee meetings and days at the Capitol to commencement celebrations across the state. Speaking of celebrations and recognizing the very best amongst us, we have been honored to have Regent Devesh Sarda serve as our student member this year. Devesh has been a thoughtful and engaged contributor, always prepared, always asking the right questions, and always representing the students well. Devesh, since this is your final board meeting, we'd love to take a moment to reflect on your experience and share what's next. For you as you head on to your senior year. The floor is yours, Devesh.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for the entirety of the Board of Regents, the members sitting up here, as well as the Regent staff that are always here to support us. I have to say this is a wonderful learning experience and a wonderful experience to learn from the great minds that all of you guys have. It's really been impactful. Sorry, it's really been impactful for me because I've gauged at the way that Louisiana runs as a higher education state and what all our current needs and our current wants are, as well as the blockers that have been stopping us from getting those. But it's really been a blast, a great experience. I have to say, for anybody else who is continuing after me, I hope that they continue to do a great job because I know my predecessors have done that, and all I'm doing is just riding on the backs of giants. That's all I can say. It's really been impactful. I, of course, will be staying in Louisiana. I plan to go back for a master's. And, of course, it's really LSU Day, LSUS Day here, so I am going back to LSUS. We are going to complete our master's there and carry on the mission going on forward from that. But I do have report once the personal comments are done that the students at COSP want me to share. But I really want to thank all of y'all for being there for me, answering my questions, for guiding me on this journey, because this year has really been informative and learning for me. And I hope to take this experience to my successor, whoever that will be, so that way they don't have to start the same place that I did. We can continue building off and making sure that the student member position up here can keep on representing the students well and keep pushing the students' needs. So thank you so much, Chair. Thank you so much, the rest of the Regents. It's really been a learning experience and a blast. Thank you.
Sylvester, you're going to leave some big shoes to fill.
I believe Regent Pryor said that I had big shoes to fill when I got here. We'd love to have the entire board join us for a photo.
Don't leave. Don't run off. We'll get a board photo. Okay, continuing on with more celebrations, Commissioner Reed and I had the opportunity to celebrate the investiture of ULM President Dr. Carrie Castile this past Thursday, April 23rd. Thank you, Regent Williams-Brown, for joining us for Dr. Castile's big day. We're so excited to see her vision of ULM become truly the best on the Bayou. Next month, we'll be celebrating Louisiana's most important talent developers, our teachers. One of our favorite annual traditions is the Future Education Honor Roll at the Louisiana State's Old Capitol. This year, we will recognize 45 outstanding future educators, including 5 high school students, and we're especially excited to hold this event on National Teachers Day, which is Tuesday, May the 5th. We hope to have you join us for the celebration. And finally, Regents has been selected to participate in the NASCIO Financial Sustainability Community of Practice, a national pilot program engaging 10 systems and SHIO leadership teams over the next 12 months. Congratulations to Elizabeth Bentley Smith, Chris Henry, Amanda Kane, and the team of finance on this tremendous honor. That concludes my comments. We'll now move on to our reports, recommendations by Commissioner Reed. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Really appreciate it. So we will keep the Space Joy conversation going. Earlier, Dr. Denley talked about the institutions that have participated in Artemis II. I had an opportunity to join the rollout for Artemis III at Michoud, NASA Michoud. And so you see a photo there with the institutions that were represented, Tulane, Nunez, Loyola. There were others, obviously, that are there. Very excited as the Artemis program continues. As we mentioned, the road to space leads through NASA Michoud, and we're very proud of that and looking forward to continuing to celebrate the students and graduates who are a part of the space mission. So very excited about that. Next, I'm very excited to celebrate 2 Regents All-Stars. One has just walked back in the room or ran back into the room. Bree Golden Phillips was recognized on Delta Sigma Theta Red and White Day. It's our sorority, and recognized her. She received the Social Action Award. So very proud of her. She was very surprised, did not know she was getting that. And then Malin Baker received the 2026 Rising Leader Award for the LSU Department of Public Administration. So we are very proud of both of them. I am especially proud. Both of them were my grad students here at the Board of Regents. So we launch them well, and as I tell them, Mama proud to see you doing all those things. So a round of applause. Very, very good work. And then finally, Administrative Professionals Day. Very excited to have an opportunity, as we always do every year, to shout out the magnificent 8 individuals who really make Regents happen, make it run well and efficient. And so I want to ask our chair and our vice chair if they will go to where the flowers are. I will read the names, and we will make sure that all of these individuals are recognized. We could not do it without each and every one of you. So if you'll come forward when your name is called, we just want to express amazing appreciation for each of you. Michelle Brandon, Annie Evans, Kara Landry, Jenny Miller, Jeanette Patterson, Emily Skycay, Carla Smith, Darcy Wagaspack, and our newest member, Ebony Allen, who started this week at the Board of Regents. We really want to thank each and every one of you for the fantastic work that you continue to do. So a round of applause for our admins.
I was about to say, don't get used to this. This is not how it is every week.
So a number of these individuals have been with us for years. They all do a phenomenal job, attention to detail, sunny and super smart. And so we just really appreciate each and every one of them for their good work. We are going to celebrate them. The celebration with them continues. We're going to have a nice special breakfast for them at the end of this week.
Commissioner Reed, you keep finding the brightest and the best to join you and on your mission. So congratulations to you too for
Thank you.
continuing to find the best of the best and making them rise above us.
Thank you so much, Regent Sarter. Thank you. One more picture, and we're almost there. All right. And Kara, I just want to single out Kara Landry. Kara is moving to proprietary schools. She has done so much over the last 2 years to support our board meetings, to support our board, to support me, to support all of us. So a special thanks to you as you move on to your promotion. All right, Madam Chair, that concludes our comments. Right here.
Okay, is there any other business to come before the board?
Madam
ma'am.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would just like to leave the last report here from the students that they wanted me to read out here in other business, and it can be attached to the chair's comments in my reports in a minute.
Sure.
The students want me to thank you guys so much for giving us a great year. Here at COSP, I have to say that they are very happy that you guys attended our days at Capitals. Of course, UL System Day was here during one of our meetings. LCCTS system immediately followed that up. We had Southern Day at the Capitol, LSU Day at the Capitol. It was a wonderful blast to see you guys there. And we thank, the students are very insistent upon me to thank the chair, commissioner, and the rest of the regents for showing up whenever you guys are invited or for being there for us. Along with that, they want to do a special thank you to Dr. Bree Golden, as well as Dr. Zach Johnson, for giving us these bills and keeping us updated on them. Here in the Legislative Committee of COSP, we are very happy to hear the progress that we're being made. We're even more happy to hear the progress that is being made on the Caleb Wilson Hazing Prevention Act, and we continue to commend you guys' work. And lastly, they wanted me to wish and ask you guys to wish them good luck for finals, as that's coming up. So with that, I conclude my last report here with a round of thank you and a round of applause to all of y'all for supporting students and for what you guys do.
All right. Thank you, Devesh. Always. Is there any other business to come before the board? Members, looking ahead, we do not meet in May. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, June the 10th. Emily, do we have any public comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Terry, and then we second. All right, Blake and David. Yeah, everybody's ready to get out of here. So, any further questions, objections?
Can we do a photo with me? I'd like to have a photo with all of y'all and
Yes.
staff members.
We-